Hello, friends. Welcome to Atul Mac. The markets are opening up slowly. The scare of pandemic is going away in the minds of the people, and therefore now we are getting into groove of the corporate work culture, etc. And today we want to discuss something very special, very specific, and that is about progressing at any cost, winning at any cost. And to discuss this matter, I will be joined by a very senior, very eminent speaker from Singapore, the CEO of Go Nomading, Mr. Kevin Cotton. Let's welcome him.
Hello, Chandra. It's really great to be here with you again. Thank you so much for this invitation.
Well, good to see you again. You're looking good, and I just want to pick your brain about winning at any cost. What is your opinion? Why people want to win at any cost? When I say any cost, that means they go to large extent uh, violating their own boundary lines and red lines for the sake of winning. Your opinion on that?
Hmm. I think it's a great subject. And what is my opinion on winning at any stakes? I think that we have to look at winning at any stakes has a lot of pluses, perhaps, but I think it also has a lot of negatives as well, or perhaps repercussions that a lot of people don't talk about. And that is the human factor, what it does to you, and what it can potentially do to you on many different levels if things don't work out in your life, whether it be professionally, whether it be athletically. And I would like to draw the analogy of the corporate athlete and the professional athlete. And as we all know that we have just come out of the Winter Olympics in Beijing, and if anybody here was following it, there was a lot of drama with regards to the doping of a 15-year-old Russian girl who was promised to win. Or she was probably would have been the win. She's a spectacular skater at 15 years old. However, to win at any cost, we don't know the final factors of this, but she had a positive drug test at 15 years old for a heart medicine, which I can't really say the name of, but it was a heart medicine for angina. And it only came to view right after the team competition of figure skating. And then the drama began as to why, first of all, was she taking drugs? And then there was another issue that she had actually tested positive for 3 other drugs, which are legal as far as the Olympic standard is concerned, and WADA, but why was she taking these? So this could be misconstrued in many ways, but it is very much common within the Russian athletic community, of doping, as we've heard over these many last years, since 2014 in Sochi, where there was a constructed doping scandal. And it has continued through. And so that's why Russia is not named as a country, but it is the Russian Olympic Committee is what they call. But anyway, so why are people doing this? So if we look at athletes are these honed individuals, very athletic, very well trained, and also their mindset is completely focused on the job that they have. They're tenacious. They also have this incredible drive and focus. Now, this is what Joanna says about corporate athletes. And corporate athletes, so CEOs, really driven managers, some people over the top at winning at any cost. We need to have we have to have shareholder value. We need to have increased growth. We need to have all of the different aspects of winning, money, power. But it's also very interesting the fact that in the professional athlete world, this can go wrong. Is that you could have one mistake, such as Michaela Schifrin, who was well known as a downhill and a slalom skier. She missed a gate, and that put her out. She never won a medal. She's the top in the world. She never won anything. So the demise of this particular person and the way she is was a real horrible thing for her. However, she had a great mindset about how to look at this. Even though she was shamed on social media and called out all sorts of things, but she was an adult. Now, if you compare that to the 15-year-old that doesn't have necessarily the capacity at that particular time, age, to be able to deal with all of this. And so we need to think about how is that also in the corporate world? Are people able to handle just winning at any time, at any cost? Are they able to deal with the things that don't go right or the failures? Are they? And I think that this is really important. But why are we building these people for only medals, only shareholder value, only money? There's a very, very strong relationship between the two. In the Olympics, it's the biggest platform of the sports, right? And medals mean money to a lot of people. Medals mean pride, country pride. It means the pride of the government. It means pride of all sorts of things. But what about the human? At any cost. You need to know in many ways that most of these young girls in Russia, they're a carbon copy. Their bodies look exactly the same. They're a carbon copy of doing as many, many elements and jumps as possible. And most of them have never seen more than one Olympics. Why? Because they were used up and thrown out. Once they start to lose, they're thrown out and replaced by another. Sounds really horrible, doesn't it? But it happens in the organizations, right? It happens in the organizations that people are thrown out because they've made a mistake, or they have not fulfilled on the mandate that they said that they would do. They have not fulfilled on a sort of things. But in actual fact, it's not about necessarily the lack of fulfillment. Some of these skaters are fulfilling what they need to do, but they're thrown out because there's another one young enough to come forward. And this can happen in organizations. But it's very interesting to a conversation which is going on in the Olympics. What are we doing to people? What are we doing to these humans? What are we doing to these young people? Should there be an age limit to go into the Olympics? But then they use the model, and they come back lately, and I've been reading about this, is the model, the Norwegian model. The Norwegian model. Where was Norway in the Winter Olympics? The top of the top of the top. They won the most medals, most golds. And sure, Norwegians are great at the winter sports. But their model is not about medals. And they win the most medals. Their model is about creating citizens, humans that will be great citizens, that be able to fulfill, to be able to be good with people, great human beings. And they see it through sport, excellence of sport, but they also see it as play. They also see it as enjoyment, the joy of doing sport. Most of these young skaters, for example, in Russia, the girls, they say, I can't stand this sport any longer. I hate it, because they are driven. They are raised as specimens. In many ways, I hate to say that, it sounds really nasty, but in real life, it is for the state and for the coaches and for the teams. The entourage, as they call them. So what about the corporates? There's an entourage, there's a group of executive leaders, the C-suite, and others, stakeholders, board of directors, the entourage, the people that uphold and promote all of the excellence, but at the same time, maybe push too far, winning at any cost. But now we're talking about organizations. It's about the human. I mean, COVID has shown us it's about how do we deal with the human? The human is most important, the mental acuity, the mindsets, the well-being of seeing and understanding these individuals, and to see their potential, as well as the C-suite, is about being seen, being understood. It's not winning at any cost. It really is about the human. Are you developing citizens within your organizations that go out and help others in the society? What are you building? It's the same in many ways as an athletic performance of constantly learning and growing and perfecting what you do. And the corporate athlete, it is that mindset, that drive, that focus, the values that you go with. Are they in line with humanity, with being a good person, with being a good citizen, being sustainable, being able to see climate change as it is and have an organization which is sustainable? It's not about winning at any cost, like many of the oil companies, devastate the climate, devastate the planet. It's about developing individuals. That is why we're here. That's why we are in organizations. That's what we, as learning and development, people that are there to help and to grow, people to expand their knowledge and their willingness, but to be able to be joyful and play. How many people in organizations actually say, oh, play, what's that? Or I'm not very joyful. I'm not very happy. Because they're pushed a lot of the time to the place that they're not able to do, perhaps, for a variety of reasons. So winning at any cost is a really strong comparison between an athlete, a professional athlete, and a corporate athlete. They have this tenacity. They have this drive, this focus, the mindset of being able to really hone in.
Well, Kevin, I have a question at this point. I have a question on the subject and that is related to the corporate. And now you have said that we should not be hungry, uh, or we should be hungry, but there has to be some balance. For instance, let me give you an example. Uh, when we are working for an organization, there are always set targets. If you don't achieve this target in this stipulated time, you're out of a job. And if you keep constantly not achieve it, you will be put on some plan, or you're not good for us. In fact, there are organizations who keep firing people every month, where their motto is that if you fire 5% of the organization, then 95% will keep working efficiently, 5% I will keep replacing. These are the things which we experience in reality. So while we are having a very, very remarkable discussion on this winning at any cost, but when the organizations themselves force this whole ideology on their employees, how will it help? Do you have any guidance or opinion for our CEO friends who are watching our program?
Yes, I think that first of all, personally, I think that you first of all have to be able to see the individuals within your organization. With very large organizations, most of the CEO and the C-suite, they never see the whole organization of the individuals. And so they only hear what comes up and what has been told to them because they're extremely busy, and which is normal. However, losing touch with your whole organization and who they are is not great. And what I call go nomading is to go throughout your organization at every level, even as low down to who's cleaning the place, is to find out, and we've been told this many, many times, is to find out what's really going on. The cleaners can help you is to understand what's going on in this organization and the feeling. But I'm not saying, what I'm saying is that's one thing that people can do, is to be able to see and to understand the individuals who are all working for them. It's about having the mindset that, yes, it is goal orientated, and certainly, if you wish, is objective and outcomes and targets, as you're talking about. But athletes have the same thing, but it's about doing it in a human form, that they're not just numbers. So if I bring one of the things that I'm told through nomadic cultures, and especially by the Himba, which is a culture, nomadic culture in Namibia. And I asked my translator and Himba guide, I said, why can they not tell me how many children they have? And he told me because they don't count them. And they said they're all equal. No matter what age they are, they're all inclusive. So one of the things can be within organizations is not to say that you're not counting, but people become a head, a head count and a deficit as opposed to an asset, is to look at our individuals as an asset to the organization and not a bottom line in the accounting of the P&L. And to really treat people as inclusive to the organization and the drive of the organization. It also, a third thing is to be able to look at the mindset. And are people really in the right place for the right moment with the right skills and the right mindset? This is often not done very well, and often it is done well. However, it's really important to be able to get that so that you are, in actual fact, giving the strength to the individual to show what they're good at, is to give them what our potential is, but also what they love to do. Sure, people don't have some tasks which they don't love, but that's always in life. But generally, what is that's driving them? What is it that they're good at? Follow what is good. And then, you have to rely and trust and to respect individuals. So that's another aspect of it, is understanding your organization is full of humans and the respect, and not only inside your organization, but external, all of the stakeholders, is how being able to treat them, how to be able to see them. And you can only do that by walking your talk. When I'm with nomadic cultures and I ask them about developing trust, they will say to me, first of all, you need to be respected before it leads to trust. And I say, well, how do you then become respected? And they say, very simply, is what you say is what you do, and you're consistent, clear, and that's the direction that you go. Is being very, very, and also express if you have to change directions. But that's being honest and then respectful, because you're sharing instead of hiding. Because, so that's important, and that will lead to trusting you as a leader and any individual. So those are some things: to be seen and to be heard, to understood, and then also to be respected and trusted, and also to, what was the other ones I said? I'm trying to remember now, but is to be able to do all of these things and to be able to help them so that it's not winning at any cost, but it is about the human development.
Very well said, Kevin. In fact, the MBAs and all the management courses should bring this aspect in their learning curriculum, because this is what we are turning into. If you look at India, there are at least 10 new unicorns in the COVID time in last 1 year. And when I say unicorn, all of these startups got funding of more than $1 billion, and there are 10 of them, highest number in the world. Whoa. So, I mean, they are winning at any cost. I'm sure there are a lot of controversies behind these startups, because so quickly they have come up. Less than 12 months, they got funding of $1 billion, and there are 10 of them. So, and all of these these companies are started by 25, 30 plus type of age group people. Very, very young. Very similar to the example that you mentioned in the beginning about the athlete. Very, very similar. So don't you think the management courses should bring this human element in their course curriculum?
Um, I think that it's important. It should be the forefront of all of the management and courses and business courses. And also, I think it ought to be the forefront of all individual education. And because the only way you can, the possible only way of getting sustainable is treating people as humans and to be able to see them and to be heard. Of course, you've got always the offshoots, and because not everyone's the same, and people that are the unicorns that are go crazy, and but they also then they haven't set up their organization completely with the human element. It's just go, go, go at any cost. However, what happens is they get stuck at some point because they haven't based it on any sort of values. They haven't based it on a lot of a strong agreement of how they want to work together, how they want to build the culture. It's just go, go, go. And these all need to be implanted with not only within business schools, but also when they get funding, is to understand what is the human element that they're going to create, not just the product and winning at any cost, is how are they going to treat each other in the collective and how are they going to collaborate together. It's another section which is show me how you're going to do that and what is going to be the benefit of this, and not just giving voice and greenwashing it in many ways using the sustainability, is really understanding the human factor.
Well, Kevin, in fact, we had a very good learning today, and what it takes to change our ways. I think this is just touching, uh, very small aspect of the whole ecosystem that you're trying to propagate through your book and through your programs. So, and we've already crossed 20 minutes. I think 20 minutes is not giving full justice to the whole subject itself, but we will catch you next time and pick your brains on something more interesting regarding business. And wish you all the best for March 4th. Before I go, I must say that.
Thank you so much. And it's a great pleasure to be here, Chandra. So thank you again.